In this video, we are going to learn service registry and discovery patterns. Last video, we will learn service aggregator pattern, and this video we will learn service registry and discovery patterns. Those are the sibling patterns, and all of them are main features of API gateways. We can use microservices discovery patterns and service registry to provide register and discover microservices in the cluster. But before that, let me focus on why we need to service discovery pattern. In traditional monolithic application architecture, IP addresses and ports are mainly static and fixed, so for that reason, they can be easily accessed by client applications. But in the microservice architecture, microservices are independently deployable, and individual team work on the individual microservices, so each team can deploy and scale their microservices independently. When deploying and scaling microservices, more microservices and instances could be added to the system in order to provide scalability to the distributed application. Because of the descaling, service locations can be changed frequently, so for that reason, we can't know the IP addresses and ports. Network locations can't be defined as static. This means that a more dynamic configuration is needed for the microservice architecture. So when it comes to microservices, their IP addresses and network locations are dynamically assigned and often changed due to auto-scaling features. This behavior makes it harder to keep track of microservice locations beforehand. As a solution, the service registry and discovery patterns was introduced, and it allows to find the network locations of microservices without injecting or coupling services. So what is service discovery pattern? In order to find the network locations of microservices, the service discovery pattern is used in microservice applications. As the name suggested, it will provide to register and discover microservices in the cluster. As you know that we have added API gateways for routing the traffic with the client and internal microservices, but how API gateways access the internal backend microservices? How API gateways know the target API and port numbers for backend microservices? You can see the picture. We put the API gateway in order to route the request to the internal microservices, but how API gateway know the IP address of the internal microservices? In that stage, the solution is applying service registry pattern. Because in microservice based application, we have many instances of the several services on the different server. Due to dynamically change in the IPs and the port numbers of these microservices, it is much more difficult to manage service discovery operation. So the service discovery pattern uses a centralized server for service registry in order to maintain a global view of microservice network locations. And microservices update their locations in the service registry at fixed intervals. When any request comes to the client, you can see the picture. When any request comes to the clients can connect the service registry and fetch the location of the microservices and route the request. So there are two main service discovery patterns available to implement service discovery for microservices. One for the client side service registry and second for the server side service registry. So now let's focus on how does service discovery work. You can see the image on the slide, and we will see how does service discovery works. There are three participants in the service discovery pattern. The first one is service registry, client, and the consumers, which is the microservices. Basically, there will be a new service for handling service registry. So the client service finds the location of other service instances by querying a service registry. You can say get the IP address. And of course, internal backend microservices should register the service registry before. You can see these red arrows. These microservices register service registry, and after that, once client send a request, gateway get the IP address from the centralized places, which is the service registry. So we can say that the service registry become a database for the microservice instances. The service registry keeps records of the network locations of the microservices. Microservices register their instances by themselves and provide their locations to the service registry. When the client service need to access internal services, then it will query from the service registry and access them. So clients can find the locations of microservices using the service registry and directly call them to perform use cases. There are some open source service registry implementations, like Netflix provides a service discovery pattern called Netflix Eureka and available for the Spring Boot Java applications. But nowadays, this pattern is not required to implement because the container orchestrator systems automatically handle the service discovery operation itself. For example, Kubernetes has service definition that basically performs all these tasks after definition of the Kubernetes service component. So it is not a big deal now, but it is good to know underlying pattern of these microservice discovery patterns and service registry operations.